welcome to my blog and to my YouTube channel at stampwithelaine.com. We're more than halfway through Celebration. The promotion period is from 4th January until the 29th of February, so it's going to be ending before you know it. It's 29th of February this year because it's a leap year. Any year that's divisible by 4 is a leap year. So during Celebration you can choose something free, and there's a selection of products that you can choose with a £45 spend and another selection for the £90 spend. And it's all earmarked here. So you could get a stamp set, you could get a bundle with the stamps and the embossing folder. You could get this set of dies for £90 and the stamp set with a £45 spend. Then there are the papers, another stamp set here with a £45 spend. Then there's the papers called Most Adored, handy for Valentine's Day. There's also these gems, the opaque gems, the ruffled ribbon, another stamp set for babies, more papers, and this is the one I've been waiting for because it goes with the Bright Skies bundle. So the Bright Skies is actually on page 51 of the January to April mini catalogue. It's got a huge cloud here, some raindrops, more clouds, little flowers, a lightning bolt, the sun, and these are the dies. So there's the stamp set. The images I think have been shrunk, so let me check. No, that's true to size. So that cloud will fit this cloud, this one will fit this cloud. You've got the lightning bolt, which will fit the stamped image, but there's also a larger one here, and a stitched cloud that is smaller with a different shape. These are the raindrops. There's a small one and there's a bigger one here. And then you've got the floral images and another little circle for the sun. I think that goes round there like so, and that's for the middle for the sun. Last but not least, there are these cloud border profiles. Show you how I did it on the card, but this is just ready to go through the die cut machine because I need to cut some in a minute. I must admit that it did take me a while to come up with this design. I wondered how you could make a Valentine card out of clouds. Well, here's the result. I hope you like it. So it's a shaker card, and that's the inside. So it says sprinkled with love, happy Valentine's Day. That's from the Be My Valentine stamp set, and that's the inside with the border cloud dies. So to make the card, these are the papers you can get for free if you spend £45. So I've cut them down to size 6 by 12 so it's easier to see. I think those are butterflies, and that is the sun if you look closely, the rays of the sun. The most economical way to cut the paper, 12 by 12 paper, is to cut it in half so that it measures 6 by 12, and then you turn it horizontally and cut them into threes, so at 4-inch intervals, and then you can get 6 cards out of it. So this is the leftover. I wasn't terribly keen on the cherries, so that's why I've used this side. The other stamp set I used is Be My Valentine, because I wanted that sentiment here and the little cluster of hearts there. I also used the adhesive backed hearts and flowers, which is part of the Be Mine Sweet collection. The inks I'm using are Pool Party and Smoky Slate. The card base is 4 1/8 by 11 3/4, and in metric that's 10.5 by 29 centimeters and folded in half. I had to make it landscape, otherwise this cloud wouldn't fit in. The matte layer, Sunny Days Designer Series paper from Celebration, and that's been cut at 4 inches by 5 5/8 inches, and in metric that's 10.2 by 14.2 centimeters. I've also cut a copy paper piece that measures exactly the same to use as a template for die cutting the cloud. I've also cut the window sheet larger than I need it because the Designer Series paper isn't as heavyweight as ordinary cardstock, and if you want to make a shaker card it's quite flimsy. So if you cut a window sheet almost the same size, just a tad smaller than matte layer, then you'll have the strength in the cardstock. So this window sheet has been cut at 3 5/8 by 5 1/8, and in metric that will be 9.2 by 13.5 centimeters. Because it's so top heavy, the front of the card with the shaker and the raised foam pads, I've cut a matte layer in Pool Party which measures 3 3/4 by 5 1/2. That's 9.5 by 14 centimeters, and then the basic white sheet to go on top has been cut at 3 5/8 by 5 3/8. So this measures 9.2 by 13.5 centimeters. You want a scrap of basic white so you can cut your border clouds, and you need this medium cloud die to cut out your shaker window, and this extra one to die cut the smaller cloud, and this one is actually the same die but I've chopped it off at the end. And for the sprinkles inside you need the iridescent shaker circles, and you need the foam adhesive strips. So let's get started. First I'm going to pop a mat underneath to stamp Sprinkled with Love, Pool Party ink. I'm just going to stamp it there. Now I'm going to go and die cut that off camera, and I'll be back. And cut this stripy cloud and put the die cut cloud face down so that the right side is flush with the stamp, and stamp it this way. Rub my fingers over it. So I'm going to set these elements aside for the front of my card. Then I'm going to die cut the border cloud pieces. Run a bit of tear and tape on there, and just take a little section of it off and then line that up to see where I want my clouds to go. Okay, then I can take that off. Now bring in the inside of my card, which is this piece here, slightly longer than the card, and I don't want it too far down. So what I'm going to do is pop another piece of tear and tape on the top here. Going to use a blending brush to just give it some contrast. I'm going to remove the tear and tape. Then I'll use wet adhesive, which is this Tombow multi-purpose glue, and glue it to the Pool Party matte layer and attach it to the Pool Party matte layer. Even border all round. Bring in my card base and attach this to the inside of the card. Pool Party ink. Stamp another sentiment. You brighten my day. You brighten my cloudy days. That's the inside of the card done. Now I want to die cut the cloud for my shaker card, and I'm going to put it round about there. And I'll run it through the die cutting machine and I'll be back. So there's my template cut. You can leave this for another project. Bring in the window sheet. And I'm going to just put tear and tape all around the cloud. Remove all these pieces. I've put tear and tape on the window sheet, so you want to start it off, but just make sure you don't remove it all the way until you're certain that it's on correctly. I want the window sheet to be inside the paper. Now bring in your template. Oops, wrong way round. Want to draw around that cloud very lightly so I know where to attach the foam adhesive tape. I want to attach the foam adhesive on this side, and then you can drop your sequins in there rather than the other way round. So I've got a bit of stamping to do, and this time I want to stamp Happy Valentine in Pool Party. And also the little hearts. Before you put the foam tape on, you want to dust it with some embossing powder, which I've done here, so that the sequins won't stick to it. Just remember where, oops, it's this side. So now I want to drop my sequins in. Remember to pile them in the middle and not get any on the side or any stuck to the top. It's best to work slowly, just putting tiny bits in so you don't accidentally flick it. I think that's enough. Just going to put some more of the same on the edges. And now I can take that off carefully. Then leave an even border all round. Then you can take that off. Next, attach the cloud. to the edge here. And pop that on dimensionals. Now I've put an adhesive sheet on the back of this, and I'm just going to cut some little raindrops, so I'll be back. Now I've die cut the raindrops, I've removed the backing tape from there, and I'm just going to pop those along here. So poke them out. Like so. So there's the card completed. That's your shaker card. That's the inside. And that's using the free Sunny Days papers from Celebration. Give me a thumbs up if you like this project. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll be back with more inspiration next time.